evening, YouTube. You guys are now watching another segment of the Cali Effect. Today we're going to be going over the long-awaited Igknight deck profile. This one's more focused on more of a control and synergistic type build. I wanted to get the best hands possible while not drawing really awkward cards or even bad cards in any given situation. I felt that the best card in the deck was the Ignister Pendulum Dragon, or the Ignister Prominence Blaster Draco Slayer, and mainly because this is basically a Scrap Dragon on steroids. It allows you to non-target, select a card, and shuffle it to the opponent's deck, so that was always really good. Also, I just wanted to abuse the fact that this was a Pendulum deck and it was a normal monster deck. There are obviously a couple of choices that you guys could choose for your own, and I'll mention some of them down as well as I'm going through the deck profile, but we'll go into that later. Pretty sure you guys want to see the deck profile right now. We're going to be running 3 copies of Templar, 3 copies of Paladin, 2 copies of Gallant, and 2 copies of Igknight Margrove. This is all of the Igknight monsters that I play. I felt that the Squire and the Crusader were not that great. Excuse me, not that great unless you were playing a turbo build. My reasoning behind it is because I can make really good rank 5 plays and I can make really good rank 6 plays, but most importantly, these are searchable through Summoner's Art. These guys are my level 4 guys, and as you guys know, the best rank is level 4. Also, it helps you get, it allows you to go into your level 8 play with the Draco Slayer. Another great thing about them is that they're searchable through Reinforcement of the Army, if I have not mentioned that. I also have a balance of both my scales. When I have my 7 Templars and my 2 Paladins, I have my 2 Gallants and my 2 Margrove. So it's a pretty big balance right there, and all their XC plays are pretty explosive. As with Squire and Crusader, it was just more Pendulum monsters that really weren't good on my side of the field. They really didn't do anything except for provide another scale or provide something for a turbo, which this deck really isn't that much of a turbo-based deck. Next, 3 copies of Luster Pendulum, the Draco Slayer, 2 copies of Eccentric Archfiend, 1 copy of Rescue Rabbit, 2 copies of Rescue Hamster, and 2 copies of Maxi. That's going to sum up the monsters at about 20. I think the biggest cards that I actually want to address is the Archfiend Eccentric. To be so real with you guys, I was only running them just because it's a Pendulum deck. I was like, hey, I want to play as many Pendulum cards as possible. And it actually come to find out that Archfiend Eccentrics aren't really that bad. Free Mystical Space Typhoon, Constant Exile Force on your side of the field. That's always pretty dope to have. Also, it's a Pendulum, it's a level 7. It sets up a lot of great plays with the deck. The Draco Slayer itself, I actually was running 2 copies, and then I figured that I wanted to see this card as soon as possible. It does help me go through my ranks. I still can XC summon if it is in the scale, and on top of that, I can use Ignister Prominence's effect to its full potential with it at 3. I just felt that it was the best card in the deck, and it just really opened up a lot of plays. You guys will see them later. Rescue Rabbit, as you guys can see, I run 6 targets for 1 copy of Rescue Rabbit, the 3 Paladin, and the 3 Templar. Just really good for a quick XC play. And then Rescue Hamster is essentially the same thing. Both of its effects are really good, very interesting in the deck, and they really help fuel out a lot of combos. So I just felt that 3 copies of a card that was just so good in the deck, allow you to get into your XC plays, was really good. Maxi also allows you to draw. I mean, I feel it's the best non-hand trap monster of the format right now. Now, consequently, I see a lot of people running Magical Library. The reason why I don't even like Magical Library is because it's so mediocre if you don't open Magical Library, because you already have everything set up, you already have all your scales set up. But if you do open Magical Library, I guess you get some really pretty hands, but I just felt that the risk wasn't worth the reward. I mean, consequently, you can drop Rescue Hamsters or Maxis or Rescue Rabbit for your Royal Magical Library. Another card that I've seen people, or that I thought was a really good tech, was Doom Caliber Knight. Especially since this deck is so normal based, I can just start summoning my Igknight monsters, just start beating face with the normal monsters, and then sit on a Doom Caliber Knight, effectively getting rid of them out of my opponent's monsters effects. I always thought that was a really good card to use. And then next, I guess you can run more copies of the Gallant and more copies of the Margrove, because, you know, it kind of does help out the Pendulum scales. They're still pretty decent cards. I just opted to stay for a 20 monster count limit, and I felt that Maxis were needed. But the cards that could go, like I said, were Maxis, maybe one of the Hamsters. I wouldn't take out a cat, and then Eccentric Archfiends. For the people that either A, can't afford them, I mean, it's not that mandatory, it's just really good in here in my opinion. Next, for the spells, 3 copies of Summoner's Art, 3 copies of Reinforcement of the Army, 3 copies of Upstart Goblin, 2 copies of Pot of Riches, and 1 Raigeki. Everything in here is pretty self-explanatory with the Summoner's Art, the Reinforcement of the Army, and the Upstart Goblins. I want to see my cards as fast as possible. Now, don't get me wrong, Upstart Goblin is, I guess, into some people's mind, it's inferior if you're not running Royal Magical Library. But you guys have to remember, if you're running Royal Magical Library, you really want to get it off first. And while there will be times you will get it off first, I just don't think that it's a good card late game or mid game, or just a card that you already have your card set up. He might also only run 10 scales, so I won't be doing that much drawing. But Upstart Goblin definitely helps me get into my pieces. I personally have never been a fan of Upstart Goblin, but it's pretty mandatory in this deck. Pot of Riches is really good just because a lot of people forget that when you summon your monsters through Rescue Raptor or Rescue Rap and you XC summon with them, they go to the graveyard. So Pot of Riches definitely gets all those targets back into your deck. It makes your reinforcement of the armies and summoners aren't mad live. The only drawback is that you can't special summon except for Pendulum Summon that turn, which isn't that bad. There's still ways you can special summon Eccentric Archfiend and still get over the monster threats that you would need to get over with your XC plays, and then still go from there. Raigeki is really nothing much else to talk about. As for traps, we're going to be running 8. That was 12 spells. 3 copies of Fiendish Chain, 2 copies of Mirror Force, Solemn, Torrential, Emptiness. Really basic, really standard. I don't think that there was much confusion with the back row. I would have loved to run more back row because I consider this more of a control variant. But it is what it is. I felt that the 3 Fiendish Chain for effect negation, Mirror Force for massive board wipes, Solemns to stop cards like whatever. Torrential is really good when you're blowing up your own Pendulum monsters. They come back, and the Vanity's Emptiness because you have to remember you can set up a board. Whereas your Pendulum monsters, if they get destroyed, they go to the extra deck, and Vanity's Emptiness will still stay on your side of the field. So that's pretty good. Another thing, I actually was playing against a couple of Yosenji players, and Lose One Turn was like MVP. He flipped this up against me, and I just manipulated it in a way. Keep in mind, your Igknight monsters don't switch to defense, even if they are special summoned because they're normal monsters. But most importantly, I just manipulated it to a way that I can just swing with all my monsters, and on main phase 2, I can make whatever I want to. Lose One Turn to affect it. I really didn't care after then. But it was really nice to see Lose One Turn actually work in his deck effectively. And I think that, with a couple of modifications, you actually could main board Lose One Turn inside of this deck. Another card, I don't know why it's here, but I'm going to talk about it anyways. Wiretap against Burning Abyss because Fire Lake is, it's not love, and Fire Lake is not life against this deck. That's pretty much it for the main deck. Let's go ahead to the extra deck. Alright guys, the extra deck is very simple. It's pretty straightforward. What you want to do is you want to summon Ignis to the Prominence, the Blasting Draco Slayer, as much as possible if you can. Its effects are really good. Just the fact that it's a non-targeting Scrap Dragon that selects the card on resolution, so your opponent really has to respond to the effect and nothing else, makes this card just so much better. And I felt that if I were to build the Igknight deck, it would definitely have to be based on this, at least until the Draco Slayers do come out. I'm excited to actually see how that works out. 3 copies of Draco Slayer, the Draco Slayer Synchro, I'm sorry, really good card. Can't wait for the other ones to come out. 1 Constellar Plutalomy M7. That card is just really amazing. I've actually summoned it multiple times outside of just overlaying a Constellar Pleiades on top of it. I've summoned it with the 2 Gallants, if I'm correct. 1 copy of Satellarknight Constellar Diamond, that will be explained later. 1 copy of Constellar Pleiades, that card will also be explained later. Artifact Durandal, this card's it's MVP for when you want to stop crucial cards. Ultimately, if all else fails, you just shuffle your hand back into your deck if you have that much of a bad hand and can make them. I've never used that effect, but the be able to stop spells, I believe in traps. I think I normally just stop spells. All right, the ability to be able to stop spells and traps is pretty good. It normally only costs you a Pendulum scale, so it's not even that bad. 1 to Stellar Knight Deltaros. I've actually made this card quite a few times. I wasn't really proud of it, but normally when I did make it, it won me the game. So 1 Honor Arc, 1 Timaeus, 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Heartland Draco. Keep in mind when it's summoned and you have a Pendulum scale, it gains the other effect. 1 Heroic Challenger Excalibur. I guess people would like to say it out the towers. I like to say it's a 4,000 attack monster that gets over just about anything in the game, if not swing for game with all that amount of damage. 1 Exciton Knight and 1 Castell. I opted not to use cards like Gaga Cowboy and I'm sorry, Rhapsody, is mainly because I know with Gaga Cowboy you summon it, you win, but I just felt that there were better extra deck cards that help synchronize the deck better. And as for Rhapsody, this is the type of deck that you want to make every Xseed play count if you are Xseed summoning. You're wasting 2 of your Pendulum scale monsters, so you really want to make that count, and you really want to make a card that can turn the tide of the game in your favor or can make a massive impact later on into the game. And I felt that these cards were definitely those type of cards. Like I said, once again, the Ignister Draco Slayer is the MVP. being able to just special summon the Jericho Pendulum monster from your deck to your side of the field, and then also the non-targeting selecting resolution effect on top of it being a 2800 body is the biggest reason why I decided to opt to go with this build. Now, I really, to be honest with you guys, it really isn't even any type of combos that I could even explain to you guys. They're all practically the same. So thank you guys so much for watching another segment of the Cali Effect. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you guys really like the Igknight deck profile and want to see it in action, I have a live Dev Pro duel that you can click on the video down below. Consequently, if you guys want to see just another video of the Cali Effect, I have the Ultimate Guard double deck box, the twin deck box, and also the flip and trade deck box, as well as the monolith that I reviewed on my channel. To check out 3 of the 4 that I just mentioned, you can click on the right side of the video, and it'll also lead you to the double deck box review. Ultimately, if you guys would like to support the Cali Effect, you can click on the link that is in the description. It will take you to my binder update, where you guys can buy the cheapest cards online. That's right, I said the cheapest cards online for the cheapest prices from your favorite Yu-Gi tuber. Ultimately, thank you guys so much for watching another segment of the Cali Effect. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy.